Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. A beautiful morning it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. And of course, it is Monday. It is Black History Month. And of course, we are going to continue to enlighten, to educate, to inform you of things that's so important for us today. And you know, every single day I ask of you to be a part of the conversation. All you have to do is call us by dialing 850-432-7768. You can call or text that number to be a part of the conversation. You know my philosophy. The only way that we can better anything, we got to be able to talk about it. And if you can't talk about it, you're telling me something right then. So that's why today I encourage you to be a part of it. I want to say thank you to, look, Parlor Donuts. You see these? Ooh, man, make you want to. I can smell it. You can smell it. Can't you see it? They are with us today. Thank you so very much. The best coffee there is at 120 Palafox Street, downtown Pensacola, where you can get yours. Now, let's get started where we need to be today. I have a guest. We're going to call him our Pensacola historian. Dr. John Veasley. He's with us today. I reached out to him and he said, you didn't give me enough time. I said, but no, you're always ready. Good morning, Dr. Veasley. How are you?
Good morning, Sunshine. I am great.
Wonderful. You know what? I tell you, I got to thank my girl, Mamie. Because Mamie said, you got to get him. You got to get him. He's just like Dr. Gates right here in Pensacola. And you know what? That's what we need, that voice of. You know, and I know that you have it. Because I think when I first met you, you were with the NAACP.
Yes.
Right, because that's when I first met you years ago. And but we have continued through our Facebook friendship over the years. I'll click in every now and then. We'll say something every now and then. But the friendship is still there.
Yes.
You know what I found? I did not know you were a dentist.
Oh, well, yes. I did go to school to learn to be a dentist. But my first love is math. I could sit and do algebra all day long.
I saw that too.
Dentistry paid the bills.
I hear you. But you know, out of all these years, I didn't know that.
I wasn't hiding it.
I mean, but you know what? Let me tell everybody this. I mean, this is Dr. John Veasley. I said Dr. John Veasley. And he is such a historian. He is a mathematician and a dentist. Did anybody come to you and cry?
Of course not.
Listen.
The gas is great.
Oh, hello. You know, that's the look. Me, at this age I am today, 15, I still got to have that gas. I cannot take it. When I get in there, doctor, and hear that zzz, something goes through it like that. I don't know what it is. I can't take it. I can't take it.
Because of an autoimmune disorder, I've been medically retired for a couple of decades. But I still remember most of the techniques. And, having a decent chairside manner goes a long way with patients being comfortable with it.
Right. I mean, it takes that, man, because I tell you, oh no, I think it happened when I was a child. Something had to happen to traumatize me that I can't stand that. Even when I hear that zzz, zzz, it's just that zzz when I hear
Somebody probably told you they're going to take you to the dentist for punishment. If you're bad,
mother.
If you eat all this candy, you're going to end up losing your teeth. We're going to have to take you to the dentist. They're going to pull your teeth.
There you go. But you know, we found that out. But no, what I want to talk about today, I mean, we know that you're a mathematician, but you are the historian that we need to talk about. The things that we want to talk about that I think that's so prevalent to our community today, especially such a time as it is, how things are happening.
Yes.
We need to know the things that you're going to share with us today. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you so I can sit back and take my notes as well.
Okay. Well, my father died in 1993, and it dawned upon me, I really don't know that much about my father's family.
Right.
So I started doing research, and for almost 3 decades, I have been researching my father's family, and then that bled over into my mother's family, and I do a little for my wife's family.
Really?
And I used to volunteer a lot at the genealogy library, helping others find their families.
Right.
But these days, you can go to the main branch of the Pensacola Library, and on the second floor, there's a genealogy section. There are about 16 computers available. You can do research. The library has the library version of Ancestry.com, which is free. And you can use FamilySearch.org at the library or at home. It is also free.
Really? What's one that's home that's free?
FamilySearch.org
It's free.
is free, and you can do it at home. You can do it anywhere as long as you have a computer. You set up a free account, and you'll have access to census records. You'll have access to some military draft records, some death certificates, some marriage licenses. There's so much information, you'll never be able to get through all of it.
Really? Were you surprised by anything that you found out about in your family?
There are always surprises. Let's see. My biggest surprise, my father's father was born in 1879. My father was 50 years old. My grandfather was 50 years old when my father was born. So, and that was from his second wife.
Really?
But the surprising thing is my father had a stepbrother, we thought, who turns out to be his half-brother. That's with a third wife. But,
Oh, Daddy.
but you'll have all those kinds of surprises along the way. And I was surprised when I found that my grandfather was one of 16 children of the same husband-wife couple.
Really?
So I've been researching all those branches, and I will be the lead hosting a family reunion in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. How's your Polish? Kosciuszko.
Okay.
That's about an hour, a little bit northeast of Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
But from my research, I was able to find that my ancestors came to Mississippi from Greene County, Georgia, just south of Augusta, in 1852.
Wow.
They were enslaved at the time, and the family that brought them there came with a caravan of about 30 to 40 families coming at one time from Greene County, Georgia to Attala County, Mississippi.
Really?
And there are records of it, of all the families, and surprisingly, you can tell somebody's wealth by how many enslaved people that they owned. The more they owned, the more money they had.
Right.
And the Veazleys, Veazey, own a little bit of land, and it is. It's funny, the spelling of the name. I have found 8 spellings of my last name of relatives of mine in census records over the years, and
Really?
and the thing about census, people would the census taker back in the day probably had to have transportation and be able to write as criteria for the job, but it didn't say that he had to be able to spell, and it didn't say that the handwriting had to be perfect. So you'll get misgivings. And I love the 1940 census because it actually tells who gave the information to the census taker. That person probably was asked how to spell that name. And but unfortunately, though, census takers don't want to come back to the same house over and over. So they would talk to whoever was available to give the information.
Really?
So-
But would that be accurate? No.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Exactly.
So
Okay. Would that person be a family member that they're talking to? You think?
if there's someone at the house,
Probably.
the mother,
Okay.
the father,
Uh-huh.
an older sibling, and if those aren't available, then maybe there's a neighbor, and the person next door may be the one that gave the information. And it's clearly identified on the 1940 census with the little X with the circle around it by the person who provided the information. But none of the other census
Did you just say
records-
an X with a circle around it? So
Yes.
what does that mean? They had to have a circle around the X?
That was the mark.
Oh, they had to have
indicating-
the circle. Okay.
indicating who gave the information.
Okay.
But if a neighbor gave the information, the neighbor was probably guessing at the age of the children, and the neighbor will give probably the name that they knew,
Okay.
what they called the child. It may or may not have been
His real name.
The real name.
As Peanut.
Probably, yeah. Lots of nicknames because Elizabeth's may be Lizzie or
Right.
Liz or even Beth.
Right.
But when you look at one census record, that by itself is not proof. You need that record, and you need other records that will corroborate that, so you'll know that you have the right information.
Okay. You know, I see this pop up a lot, that ancestry.
Yes.
And I see a lot of people say, well, I want to find out my lineage. I want to see what part I'm from, where I'm from. Am I all the way black? I've had somebody say that. Am I from this descendant of this family and that? I mean, but you're laughing. But really,
Well-
they do that.
Am I all the way black?
Uh-huh.
Nobody's all the way black.
Come on, say that. I've said that all along.
But when you look at your DNA testing, you will get results. I personally have been tested by 3 companies.
You've been testing what?
I did DNA testing with 3 companies.
Okay.
I did with African ancestry. They don't. The only thing that they're looking for is where, which group of people in Africa you descend from, and the location of that group now. And they don't tell you about this person's your cousin, that's person. They don't do that. They don't store your DNA. They just tell you that. And let's see, that flag on the wall,
Yeah.
is from the country Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is the country that my mother's line
Okay.
come, and the same country my father's line.
Look at that.
And that part's amazing, and I love that. Ancestry tests these days probably cost around $300.
Ooh.
But make sure you check because they often will have the 10 or 15% sales, and the price has gone down. It used to be $700. Right.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Hold up there, John. I tell you, I'm taking notes mentally because there's so many things I want to find out about my family, and I know where I'm going to start doing is to go to check out who I am, where I come from. And I'm going to start there. I may get John to help me. But anyway, everybody, we're going to be talking with Dr. Veasley more today about you, your ancestry, things that you can do to find out who you are. And please tell somebody, be a part of this conversation. Got questions or maybe how you can do the same thing? 850-432-7768. We're going to be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month. During Sonshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
Do you have a house that you want to turn into cash? I'm Mike with Mullet Man Buys Houses from Pensacola, Florida. Maybe you inherited a house, are facing foreclosure, have tenant issues, or the house is in general disrepair. I buy houses cash, in as-is condition, and close in as little as 3 weeks. I can provide you a competitive offer the same day I walk through your house. With Mullet Man Buys Houses, you can find the easy solution to put cash in your hand as quickly as possible.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
Come back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition of, I tell you, finding out who you are. Dr. John Veasley, he's with us today, and believe me, the things you should hear me talking went off the camera. I said, we got to do this. I want to know who I am. I want to know where I come from. But just telling with my family. My mother was the baby of 20. 20. That's a lot of children. In my family, with my mother and father, there's 8 of us. I'm number 6, 2 under me. But it's I don't know how many my daddy. It was a lot of them.
Well, a good place to start. Talk to any elders or any older cousins or anybody who may have been around those family members. They could have information.
Right.
People have so much information that they don't know that they have.
Right.
Obituaries. Now, they're not always correct.
Right.
But they're a great starting point because they'll have names.
Yeah, right, because that's right. The lineage is there after they pass on.
And sometimes people will add people and sometimes they will leave people out. So outside children are rarely listed on an obituary. But
there was no outside in my family. Okay, they didn't have any out there.
That you know of. But anyway, there's always the gossip.
Right.
And sometimes there's facts with that gossip.
Right.
And down the road, that DNA will show you some of those. Things that people don't tell you about. Yeah, it's out there.
Really?
And it may not be your parents, but it's your grandparents.
Right.
People were not always in monogamous relationships, or every now and then, things happen.
Really? You think Papa? Papa is my daddy's daddy.
Papa was a rolling stone. But
now, Papa, listen, guys, this is really causing me to think. My father's mother, he was a baby, died right after she had him. But Papa got with Mama. But they didn't have no children, I don't think.
Okay. And when you're looking at census records, you have to be very careful because in a case like that, when one spouse dies and a person remarries, well, the children all go to the in a house, and those children will possibly be attributed to the male of that household. when you just look at the records, then it says, sometimes it will say that that's a stepchild, but a lot of times it won't.
Really?
Case in point, my father's mother died when he was about 3 years old. In the 1940 census, it shows the third wife of my grandfather in the household with my father, his brother, a sister, and the lady's child, and they're all listed as his children.
Okay, I see. They didn't have any. All right, I don't think. But you know, I say that because I don't think so.
Yes. We like to not think.
I mean, no, it's 8 of us, and that's it. I mean.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you know, but you know, when you find things out like this, you got my head. I can hear my older brother in my head. Rest his soul. The things he used to tell me, right? Now, this has really intrigued me. Have you done that? Have you thought about going out, finding out who you are? Listen, I tell you, we need to come up with something that we can do this just like Dr. Gates does it, and we'll have this thing on TV. Because I think that's so interesting.
Go to the genealogy library. Or you can go online and download a graphic. It's called a family group sheet and a pedigree chart. Now, the family group sheet it's a form that you list the male and female parents and their children. If there are children that either the male or female had with somebody else, that child does not go on the family group sheet with that set of parents, right? You must put the child with its rightful parents. So, family group sheets, you'll need lots of those. I go to family reunions, and for the first 2 hours, I'm sitting there, I'm going around from person to person with family group sheets. We're doing family group sheets.
Really?
That's what I'm talking. Now, after that, sure, I'll start hanging out and telling stories and asking all kinds of things. But the pedigree chart is where you put your name, then your parents' names, and then their parents and their parents, and on, so that you can see all those generations. But the family group sheet is the most important part. You should have a family group sheet for anybody, any family that had children.
Wow, I'm amazed.
And that'll keep it straight for you. So that when you do your family tree, you'll be able to see. On my father's side, because my grandfather had those 15 siblings, that tree spans.
Your grandfather had 15.
My grandfather had 8 children with 3 wives. His father had 15 children.
Oh, okay.
16 children. And I have been able to trace my father, his father, and his father, who's my great-grandfather. That great-grandfather was born in about 1845, 1848, something like that.
Right.
He was 17 years old at the time of emancipation. So I found a Freedmen Bureau labor contract, a sharecropping agreement, dated 1865, that shows my great-grandfather having to work, having to produce all these bushels of corn and wheat, and how much pork they had to raise in exchange for food, clothing, and shelter for that year.
Oh, wow. Now, see, I got to say this. I got to remember. Now, do you see what you just said? Now, I want to say this to our viewers. That's what I said, even with what's going on in the country today. We've been there, done that. We know how to take care. I mean,
Yes.
We know how to. And with that, we're talking about the genealogy, your family tree, all of this stuff that we've gone through our lives. And with what's happening in the world today, And I've heard this word, this statement here so bad. Send you back to your country. Send you back where you come from. Oh my goodness, that irks me. How do you feel when you hear that?
And I said, unless you're a Native American,
Come on.
where's your country?
Hello. Say it. Exactly. But I mean, like, and is that a play of words you think that's being used? Just to, or is that just plain out ignorance?
It's ignorance, it's malice, it's
All of it.
some people trying to feel superior to others.
That's what it boils down to.
Yes.
So therefore, I like to use this word, dictatorship. And you know why? I'm saying that because I'm listening to you talk about all the history that you find out about yourselves, and we need to do the same thing. I feel like everybody should find out who you are. And I mean, the lineage, I think it's just, it's amazing.
It's amazing to me to find out these things, to find people with DNA testing.
Right.
I have found second, third, fourth cousins that I can actually talk with, and we can work through to find out how we are related. There is a relative who was, let's see, the way that I found out that my father's stepbrother was actually his half brother. Was
What?
right.
Okay.
We were told that the third wife's, he was the third wife's child, but we didn't know that it was my grandfather's child with her, because that child was born while he was still married to the second wife. But
Creep, creep, creep.
availability.
Okay.
And you know, when people get ill spouses, sometimes
When they get what?
spouses get infirmed, disabled. Sometimes there's some creeping going on.
Oh, really? But that close?
Socializing.
But that's a lot of socializing right there. I mean,
Oh, and the funny thing, when you say that close, when you go back and look, see how people married, they married people who lived close by. My grandfather, one of his brothers and one of his sisters married two sisters and a brother from a neighboring family.
nah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So, those the kids of those families were very close. Because,
Yeah, they were.
because they shared relatives on both sides.
Oh, wow. But
And biologically, there's nothing wrong with it. Socially, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's like if you had a sister and you two just happen to date two brothers of another family.
I mean, this is so interesting. I know my mouth is probably, I haven't closed it yet, but the fact, I love knowledge, and I love learning things. And this is what I try to use this platform for, so we can educate everybody that you need to find out more. Even, I mean, if you're not, you think you know, when you don't know. That is amazing what you're teaching me today, because I'm going to be bugging you. You're going to say, I'm not answering that phone anymore. That's her. I mean, because of the fact of the things that you're telling me how it works. And to find out that, I mean, you got my mother and my father in my head, but we don't have any, it's just us 8.
Okay.
Okay? It's just us 8.
Sure.
Okay?
Whatever you say.
Somebody want to ask you something this morning, doctor. I mean, it's just us 8, okay? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are y'all?
We're doing great.
That's great. I just had a question for your guest,
Yes.
something that I've always wanted to ask. And my question is, if we trace our genealogy especially for black people, will it always end up going back to a plantation, or would it sometimes go back to even maybe England? if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, that question will take you in lots of directions. Let's hit it by saying, no, it will not always go back to enslavement. There were free blacks in Escambia County in 1865.
Really?
Yes. There were about 200 free blacks in Pensacola. There were about 5,000 free blacks in the state of Florida.
Wow. Amazing. So we don't have to necessarily go back to slavery. I've been reading, studying about the Moors.
Yes.
Okay?
Wait, the Moors or the Moors?
Hey! I said, maybe that'll come back as my limit. But did that answer your question, sir? Because this is very interesting to me. Because I am learning some things that I think that's going to only benefit me more.
Let me get...
yes, it did answer my question. And I also just wanted to add, before I go, that I'm calling from Alabama. So thank you. It did answer my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
But there's even more. When you do your research, especially with the DNA, if there had been a white male in your in your lineage in any way, then when you do DNA testing, it is going to take you back to a European country. Because when it goes through your father, that male DNA is going to be father, 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 father. So when it goes up to the line and gets to a white father, then it's going to stay a white father.
Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you this when we come back. I want you to think about this. I have it on both sides. Okay?
Okay.
That's white on my father, close. White on my mother, close. We're going to talk about that more. Whew. Call us up at 850-432-7768. Let's find out some history today about you. And I really want to talk about the Moors. The Moors. As we continue right here on Sunshine's Corner, let me say thank you to our Black History sponsors. Thank you so very much for doing what you do to believe as we do right here together on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
There are many reasons someone may need in-home care, whether it may be respite care, them recovering from surgery, or having a chronic condition. Having someone dedicated and reliable is imperative. Supplemental Support Care Services was created to provide to those who are in need with quality care that they deserve in the home. Taking it a step further, our main goal is to ensure that Supplemental Support Care Services is where the love and care is top priority.
This is Charlie with RWB Spas in Pensacola. This is my #1 seller. It's the Bellagio Boo, which is aluminum frames and aluminum panels. We believe in the Charles Deming philosophy, which is quality, and we have the aluminum frames, aluminum panels, our thick inch base, and the latest, greatest technology on the market. RWB Spas, this is why everybody comes here. It's because they purchased the #1 seller in the country, rwbhottubs.com, and come meet Bambino.
Early in life, Tony found a love for craftsmanship through building furniture. Growing up in cabinet shops, he was drawn towards custom cabinetry, designing, and creating new and functional spaces. And to be able to share that passion with his clients, helping them turn their ideas into something special, making sure you get more for your investment.
Every kitchen and bath starts with your unique vision. I just bring it to life.
Master-built cabinets, beautifully handcrafted and customer designed.
And welcome back to this Monday edition of, look, we're getting out lineage today. We're going back. we are finding out who we are. I am Sonshine, your host, and I'm so glad that we have Dr. Veasley here with us today because he is really educating me on some things. Because when I brought up the Moors, and not the M-O-O-R-E-R, I'm not talking about the M-O-O-R-E, it's the M-O-O-R.
Yes.
Okay, it's 3 of us, but I always say you get more of the Moors when you get more. But it's such a great thing. And you were about to tell me something about when I asked you about the Moors and how it goes back to the fact that there's queens and kings and all that good stuff back then with the Moors.
Yes.
But it's something we don't understand.
I want to make sure that yes, we have people who are probably descendants of kings and queens.
Right.
But everybody that was enslaved was not a king or queen.
Right.
There had to be other people in the village too. Remember?
But of course.
When I started doing genealogy, I got upset with Alex Haley because he did Roots and he put that out there, and his story just read so well, and every line was just so great, and you knew whose kid was whose kid was whose kid, and he made it look so easy.
Right, Kunta.
Well, it's not that easy.
Okay.
And when you look at it, Kunta's folks were not kings or queens.
No, they weren't.
Now, there were people, there were chiefs in the village, or royalty, if you will, but everybody in the village can't be the king or the queen or the chief.
Right. You know, you said something earlier that resonated with me, that everybody thinks just because, okay, that we all, it was referring to the gentleman that called, that we're all not from slave owners.
Right.
And that's a mentality thing, I think, that even some of us, our own, are guilty of thinking that's where we all come from, as slaves.
A great majority of us are descendants of enslaved people.
Right.
But there are some, and in the census records, you will see free people of color. And check the census records. Blacks in general, the majority of blacks were not listed in a census record by name until 1870. There are a few other states that did special census, like Alabama did an 1866 census to capture the blacks.
Oh, really?
How many more people they could tax, really?
Exactly. Now, Papa was born, we call him Papa, my father's father. He was born in 1868.
Okay.
And died in 1969. I've gone back to try to find out things about him as well. I'm still working on it.
And he was born in 1868? Mm-hmm. And you know the area, the place, the county? Mm-hmm. Then you should be able to find him at listed as 1 year old on the 1870 census in Alabama in that county.
Okay.
And the great thing about census records, if someone is born less than a year before that census was taken,
right,
their age will be listed in so many twelfths, as in 9/12 for someone that's 9 months old.
Oh, really?
5/12 for somebody 5 months old. And that from that census, it'll help you narrow down the actual birth time of that child.
Okay.
And when they talk about children, when a child is less than 10 years old, I am confident that number is a better number than you're going to get when that person's 15, 20, 30 years old, because the person giving the information for that young child is more than likely the mother.
Oh, really?
Mothers know when their children are born.
Of course.
And talking about mothers knowing, for many of us born, say, before 1970, were born at home with midwives.
Exactly, I was.
And midwives would report your birth to the county health department, and they reported to the state. Well, midwives didn't always report the birth on the date that it happened. So, a couple of days later when they're writing the report, oh, I don't exactly remember this one, but let me put this.
Really?
On all the official records from my mother, it said September 28th. But her mother knew, and
exactly
throughout life she knew. So my mother had the final word when she had the tombstones prepared for my father and herself. She put the September 24th instead of the 28th.
Okay.
So she set the record straight.
Come on, Mama. I mean, but this is so intriguing to me. My mind is it's like light bulbs that are flashing, because these are things that are so intriguing to me. If you've had some of this done, call up and share what you found out about yourself at 850-432-7768. I mean, because I am going to really go deep into this now, right? Because you're intriguing me more. Like I said, I'm going to be calling them so much, you're going to say, that's hurt, don't answer it. I mean, because of that, you had to miss grammar size today, but that's okay. Maybe he'll be back in class next week. But listen to this. I just want to say, because the things that we're finding out, even back from slavery, even from things that people would think, when you said that there were about 500 free people here in Escambia County in the 1800s? I mean, in Florida.
Right, in Florida. There were at least 500 in Florida. I don't remember the numbers exactly in my head, but there were free people in Escambia County, Florida.
Really?
Yes.
What happened? I mean, you want to go back? I'm just saying. But it's like, even with the things that I think people should realize, even with the things that's trying to be taken away from us with the history of us, of black people, of any person of color, taking history out of the schools. I think our younger generation is going to miss out. The intrigue that I have on learning this today, and
now the interesting thing, they've taken cursive writing out.
Oh my God!
Are they bringing it back? They're going to find out that they need it back, because these older records are written in cursive.
Exactly, and they are so just right. And I think cursive writing is so pretty. I mean, it's so. What's your signature? I don't want to hear your initials. What's your signature?
Yes. Now, some cursive writing is pretty, and
some of it,
and easy to understand when you get a census record. Some of it is not so pretty.
Right.
Have you seen the handwriting when our relatives get older, and those curves are now pointed little jagged lines?
Exactly. I can visualize my father's signature and how he wrote his name, Ira. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing about signatures, if you look at at someone's signature, it also tells their level of education.
Exactly.
And let's see. Something that really sticks out in my head is the 16-year-old girl's handwriting. If you will notice, 16-year-old girls, or when you were 16,
yesterday,
how round the writing was.
Yeah.
How big the writing was.
Right.
How smooth all the lines were.
Right. Not that. Exactly.
But someone who has basically an elementary education, as a lot of older,
my father.
Yeah, the past generations of black men, especially, because they went to school during the winter. But when it was planting time, when it was harvest time, they were working the fields. You had maybe 4 months of school.
Exactly.
And that handwriting was a very deliberate, slow handwriting, and it didn't change.
Right. And my father wrote the same way until he died. The very same. His signature never got any larger. As I can see it now, how he wrote his name is still the same. It was the same all the time. And
now, as you get older and you're writing faster, then some of the beautiful curves aren't there anymore.
Right.
And you start getting these little wavy lines, and physicians, dentists, nurses, Anybody writing a medical record, slow down. Somebody wants to read that.
Exactly.
And it'll be your saving grace in court too.
No, listen at this one. You brought something up about the younger generation now that do not know how to write cursive. Everything is printed. They do not know how. I mean, I see now when they're taken back to schools, which like I grew up, it was 1 through 6 and 7 through 12. I mean, I think they never should have changed it. That's just me. Because during that, we call that elementary school 1st through 6th. All right, you went to high school with 7th through the 12th, and but the educational part of it there was you knew what you had to learn. Those letters that was across the wall, that you knew that you had to do those letters exactly how they were, and I mean even down to the numbers.
Yes,
you knew how to write them. But
and there was a song to go with that. 1 stroke down to make a 1.
Oh, come on.
Halfway round and then across to make a 2. Halfway round and halfway around.
Yes, exactly. Memories.
Yes.
I mean, but with them taking that, trying to take that out of the schools today with our kids, I mean, I think badly because of the history that we're losing, that our young people don't know. They don't know it already. A lot of them don't even know much of it at all. And I think that's a hindrance.
Absolutely. If you can't read it,
thank you.
You won't learn it. You may hear it, but you played that game, post office or telegram, when somebody says something and then somebody else says and somebody else.
By the time it gets there, it's totally different.
Right.
Totally different. And that's why I want to hear what you think about the fact that they're trying, especially with history, taking it out of our schools for our kids. And we, as the adults, we've got to make sure that our kids know their history. We're going to come back and talk about that. We got to go to break. But we've got to get that back into our children's head, because I think it bothers me when I can hear, even if I ask a child, who's Rosa Parks? Who? If I ask a person, who's Angela Davis? Who? I mean, we need to teach our kids these things. We're going to talk more with Dr. Veasley when we come back right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Welcome to Little John's Big and Tall, where tall men and big men go for style, fit, and comfort. We offer a wide variety of styles and unique brands that service all sizes from large to 14X, as well as tall sizes from large tall to 6X tall. Our knowledgeable staff are here to make sure you have a stress-free experience and answer any of your questions. Little John's has been named Best of Pensacola and Best of the Bay for 4 years in a row. Visit Little John's at 5700 North Davis or visit us online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today. Call 1-850-393-7036 to learn more.
From wanting the perfect dress for the most important day of your life to simply wanting to look your best, let 2 Times a Lady be your saving grace. Whether you're looking for an elegant A-line gown or a trendy cocktail dress, our expert staff will help you find the perfect fit. 2 Times a Lady has been dressing ladies in Pensacola since 1983. Call us at 850-474-3778 or stop by the store at 2755 East Olive Road. We can help you find the ideal dress for your event.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quince Dieter, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition. And I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly being intrigued, and my mind is just going fast, and faster and faster. The more we talk with Dr. Veasley about finding out your lineage, going back and finding out about your parents' parents, and all the way back, I think that will show you something just like I have a student, but 8 of us. And he still smiles and says, okay, if I think that way, no, 8. 4 girls, 4 boys, mother and father. That's all it was. And I'll stick on that.
Okay.
And I can't change that. I hope I don't find anything that's going to change that. No. But the fact of it is, we're talking about with this, what we need to do with the fact of when you find out how you can do this to find out who you are. With the children today, how the young people are, we were talking about this thing that you saw on Facebook. I see that a lot too. Because we had a grandma that was a grandma. You understand what I'm saying? We had a mother that was mother. I wouldn't have never went to my mother and said, "You my friend. You my buddy." I would have got knocked back to where I come from.
Oh.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying? My mother, that was not in my vocabulary. I'm your friend.
The mothers, the aunties, the grandmothers, I'm not one of your little friends.
Come on now. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. But I think now, if we don't take a hold, even what you're educating with me today about things about could be that's in your family, how do we get the generation after us? Because Dr. Veasley, they are our tomorrow.
We got to talk, we got to teach, and you got to show example.
I agree.
If you don't live by example, they're not going to listen to you.
Absolutely.
And you can have the best advice, but if you're not living an example of what you're saying, then
they mimic what we do.
Yeah, that do what I say, not what I do. That doesn't work.
Absolutely. And I think that with the what we got to do as far as our community is concerned, when it comes to our black kids, that we, as the adults, whatever it takes, whatever means necessary, we've got to start something to continue to instill in them so that they can be able to carry the torch, because if Lord Jesus, that torch will burn out.
Well, we all have to realize that whether you think so or not, kids are watching you. People are watching you. They know what you do. They know what you say.
Exactly.
And if you do different than what you say, you're not going to be able to influence them that much.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Because I use that often. I said, baby, you may think nobody don't see you, but honey, they're watching everything you do. And I can give it to you step by step, what you did, what you said. And then there's some cases they'll come back and say, no, well, you did it. You can't tell me not to. You understand?
Yes.
Pops, you want your teeth? But I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to. You understand what I'm saying? But now it's so that we can't even discipline our children without the law being there. And I tell.
Well, it used to be a community.
What raised the children. Exactly.
Taking the village. And these days, parents are so protective, guarded.
Afraid.
Afraid to discipline their own children.
Exactly.
And don't want anybody else to tell them. So
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
They always saying we gotta have, where's the community? But the minute I discipline your child, don't put your hand. My child didn't do that. Oh, really?
Well, take your child to church so that those mothers at church can
put something in them.
Yeah, keep them in line.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
And parents, you need to go back and develop the look.
Exactly. That's all it took with my mother.
Yes, because you knew something was coming when you got home. Don't make empty promises. Deliver.
They did. Oh, Lord, they did. Said scar on my knee. Oh, yes, they did. But to say that, though, Dr. Veasley, you know, I appreciate that. I appreciate that to this day. Yes. That's why, one of the reasons why what they instilled, the respect that I hold, is what they taught me, and I knew they weren't playing. I appreciate that today. The times when I was trying to sneak around and get away, I got a scar on my knee today. But I thank God for that scar.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that I couldn't just do that to mother and father and think that the repercussion was going to be smooth, a piece of pie. No way.
Yeah,
no
we
way.
all know what that switch is.
You got that right. Give me that rattan bush she was saying, go ahead and plant it up. But can you believe our time is up?
Oh, no. Well, make sure you go to the Genealogy Library, second floor of the public library downtown. And I have been a member of the Genealogy Society here in Pensacola for about 20 years. And I thought I knew a lot about doing research from all my educational background. But genealogy research is different. You can learn all kinds of things. So Genealogy Society meets the first Saturday of every month at 10:30 on the first floor in the public library.
Really?
During March, we have a workshop. We have outside speakers come in, and there's a little fee for that. But $20 a year to be part of Genealogy Society, it ain't that much. You pay that much to go out to eat.
Go to McDonald's.
Right.
And you don't get the food, you get a dry French fry.
And you don't get the lasting information.
Exactly. You're going to be seeing a lot of me because I want to find out all about my family. I really want to find out about my tree. I cannot thank you enough for coming in today. And I mean, thank you. We're going to do this again. Know that you're on my list to have you back.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. And everybody listen, it has been fantastic
Thank
today.
you.
And for those of you who are sitting there taking notes, make sure you go to the library and start that. Build your tree so you'll know where you come from. And I do believe that with that, I think when you find out who you are, that gives you a better direction on where you're going.
Yes.
I really believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic day, but look, when it goes by so fast, so quickly as it did today, I said, I got to stop asking questions. But I want to leave you with a thought as I do every single day. Never, ever, 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 ever lose your focus. Always remember this, as you keep God first in whatever you do. I know this for a fact. I guarantee you're going to be a total success. So stay tuned, and tomorrow join us because we're going to finish our conclusion with Mamie Hickson tomorrow as we talk about Black women in business, the challenges that they have right here in Pensacola. Until then, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.